The war had burned across the galaxy for 7 long years. Human fleets and the Vilari Empire clashed in every sector, metal and blood scattered through the void. I was Lieutenant Rescale, pilot of the Terran Vanguard, when everything went wrong. My fighter were crippled above Lyra 4, a world of violet deserts and twin suns. When I woke, my ship was half buried in sand, my comms dead, and I wasn't alone. Standing above me was her, the enemy's princess, Princess Sarai-Th Valen of the Vilari. I recognized her immediately from a dozen intelligence briefings. Silver eyes like cut crystal, luminous skin with faint traces of bioluminescent blue, and a crest of soft, translucent tendrils in place of hair. Her people called her the Starlit Air. She didn't kill me. Instead, she tilted her head, studying the unconscious human sprawled in her desert. "You are far from home, soldier," she said, her voice smooth, melodic, yet carrying the weight of command. I reached for my blaster. She kicked it away with one graceful motion. "Don't," she said. "You're bleeding too badly to play hero." That was the beginning. Chapter 2, The Desert Shelter. She took me to a hidden Vilari outpost, abandoned, half-collapsed, half-buried by time. There, she patched my wounds using glowing nanits from her wristband. For days, I expected torture or interrogation. Instead, she said nothing of strategy or secrets. She just listened. Each evening, we watched the twin suns descend, washing the desert in rose and gold. She would ask strange questions. What does rain taste like? Is it true humans fear silence? I tried to answer, half distracted by the surreal calm around us. Somewhere beyond that horizon, fleets were tearing each other apart. Yet here, an alien princess tended to a human soldier. She never removed her ceremonial armor fully, but when the blue lights across her skin pulsed gently, I realized something impossible. The enemy princess was lonely. Once, I caught her staring at my reflection in a cracked mirror. "Your eyes," she murmured. "They hold defiance. It's strange. My people lost that long ago." I should have hated her. Instead, I began to forget, not everything, but enough to make the silence between us mean something. Chapter 3, The Wounds Beneath Armor. As I healed, I learned more than I should have. Sarai told me she had fled her father's flagship weeks ago. She didn't believe in the war. "We were meant to guide, not conquer," she whispered one night, her voice trembling as though admitting a sin. She showed me a Vilari artifact, a small crystal sphere projecting holograms of cities made of light and air. "This was my home before it burned," she said. "My father called it necessary purification. I called it murder." I told her about my brother, who died during the siege of Europa, and how I enlisted the next day. The two of us, enemies molded by loss, sat beneath alien stars, bound by shared ghosts. That night, as the desert wind howled through the ruins, she looked at me and said softly, "You fight because you must. I fight because I was born to a crown that never asked." And for the first time in years, I felt something like peace. Chapter 4, The Beacon. Then came the signal. My ship's emergency beacon, somehow reactivated. I didn't know how far the transmission would reach, but it meant rescue, or invasion. When I told Sarai, she didn't flinch. "Your people will come. Mine will sense the interference too. They will come as well." I stared at her. "We can't be here when they do." Her expression softened. "You mean you can't?" There it was, the line between us, drawn again in fire. "I can take you," I said, impulsively. "There's room for 2 in my ship." "You would smuggle the air of Vilari through Terran space?" she asked, almost laughing. "I would save someone who doesn't deserve to die in someone else's war." For a long time, she said nothing. The desert light flickered across her face, and for a heartbeat, I thought she might say yes. Instead, she whispered, "If I go with you, both our worlds burned faster. My father would see it as proof that peace is treason. Then what do? We survive, she said, until survival itself becomes rebellion. Chapter 5. The Battle over Lyra 4. The fleets arrived 2 days later. From the cliffs, we watched as blue and silver Vilari ships clash with black Terran destroyers, their beams tearing the sky apart. It was beautiful and horrifying, the kind of sight that leaves you hollow. Sarai gripped my arm. Your signal brought them. My signal might save us both, I countered. But even as escape pods rained down, I knew the truth. There was no saving anyone out there. Suddenly, a Vilari scout drone spotted movement near the ridge. Ours. Within seconds, blast of fire erupted, sending dust and plasma through the air. We ran. Together. She moved like light, precise, lethal, graceful. When a blast struck near us, I shielded her with my body. When I stumbled, she pulled me forward with strength I didn't expect. We made it to the ship, half sunk but functional enough. "Reese!" she shouted over the roar of engines. "If you fly, they'll lock on. Then get in and make them miss." I yelled back. Her eyes, silver and fierce, met mine. And in that instant, I forgot the war entirely. Chapter 6. The Sky Between Worlds. We broke the atmosphere in a storm of fire and light. Pursuit ships screamed behind us. I pushed the throttle to its limits, alarms wailing in protest. Sarai worked the controls beside me, rerouting power from weapons to shields. "You trust me too easily," she said, half smiling. "I'm a terrible soldier," I replied. A plasma round grazed the hull. System flickered. For a second, darkness swallowed the cockpit. Then, faintly, I felt her hand on mine. "Do you believe peace is possible?" she asked. "Not today," I said, "but maybe tomorrow." And somehow, that was enough. When the ship finally crossed into neutral space, engines burning out, we fell silent. Stars stretched endlessly before us, no sides, no borders. She leaned back, exhaustion dimming the glow along her skin. "If they find me, they'll execute you," she murmured. "If they find me, they'll execute both of us," I said. "So let's stay lost a little longer." Her laugh, quiet, trembling, was the most human sound I'd ever heard. Epilogue. What remains? Weeks later, the war shifted again. Reports spoke of the Vilari princess missing, presumed dead. On Terran channels, I was listed as MIA. We hit on a moon with no name, beneath a fractured sky. There, we built a shelter from scrap and silence. She studied the constellations. I fixed what machines I could. Some nights, when the wind was still, she would say, "Do you still remember what side you're on?" And I would answer, "Only yours." The war raged on without us. But for a while, 2 enemies shared the same breath beneath the stars, and that, perhaps, was the closest thing to peace the galaxy would ever know.